Srila Prabhupada ki. Prabhu, that introduction is incomplete. You didn't mention that I am your friend.
Yes, we became friends 1 year ago, and now we see each other again, so thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Ekachakra Prabhu, for kindly inviting me here today to this wonderful temple of Sri Sri Radha Gopinath, and I can really perceive that everywhere the manifest mercy of Srila Prabhupada is present here. Thank you to all the wonderful devotees who are kindly present here today on the occasion of Sri Gaura Purnima. It is Vaishnav culture to give thanks to the audience. I cannot take my audience for granted. Between the speaker and the audience is more important. Because if today the speaker doesn't arrive on time, somebody else will be selected as the speaker. But if the audience doesn't arrive, hence it is proved that the audience is more important than the speaker. All of you are present here as the audience. My sincere thanks to each and every one of you. Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, thank you so much for kindly being present here. My special thanks also to the wonderful Vaishnavi who was singing Kirtan. What's her name? Surabhi Devi. Thank you so much for this wonderful Kirtan. Thank you so much for invoking the moods of Sri Narottam Das Thakur in all of us. Hare Krishna. Let's have a big applause for Surabhi Devi's Kirtan. So, the Shishta Parampara, the tradition established by the previous Acharyas, is to begin with Mangalacharan, auspicious invocations. So I'll begin with Mangalacharan. Most of us know these verses. You can kindly sing along with me. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Panchabhihi sah sthathavyam gantavyam panchabhihi sah panchabhihi sah vaktavyam na dukkham panchabhihi sah. It is specified by the previous acharyas. Panchabhihi sah sthathavyam. If you want to stay at one place, stay with at least 5 people. That way, if you have an argument or if you quarrel with one person, you have 4 other people to speak to. Gantavyam panchabhihi saha. If you travel somewhere, travel with at least 5 people. That way, if you fall in some difficulty, you have 5 people to protect you. And panchabhihi saha vaktavyam. If you want to speak in an assembly, there should be at least how many people? No, 5. But I see there are so many more than 5. Na dukkham panchabhisa. There is absolutely no unhappiness if at least 5 are there. But here I see there are more than 50. So my happiness has increased 10 times, dear devotees. Thank you once again for kindly being present here. We will begin with a verse from Sri Caitanya-caritamrta, translated by and commented upon by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So the verse and synonyms and translation are in front of you. I will sing the verse. Kindly repeat after me. Reading from Sri Caitanya-caritamrta, Adi Leela, 3rd chapter, verse number 14. Chira kala nahi kari, prema bhakti dana, bhakti bina jagat tera, nahi avasthana. So this is a Bengali verse. It is technically called Paya. So this is a Bengali Paya composed by Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Sri Caitanya-caritamrta. In this particular Paya, Sri Krishna is expressing his mind. And Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has noted it down. Synonyms. Please repeat. Chirakala, for a long time. Nahi kari, I have not done. Prema bhakti, loving devotional service. Dana, giving. Bhakti, devotional service. Vina, without. Jagatera, of the universe. Nahi, not. Avasthana, existence. Translation. For a long time, I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord seldom awards pure transcendental love. But without such pure love of God, freed from the fruitive activities and empiric speculation, one cannot attain perfection in life. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Dear devotees, today is the most auspicious appearance day of Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu, whose civil name was Vishwambhar Mishra. That was his civil name. His father's name was Sri Jagannath Mishra and he was named Vishwambhar. So, Sri Vishwambhar Mishra, who later became known as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, appeared today in the evening when a lunar eclipse was going on. Dear devotees, we are all present here today because of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. All of us here are today present because of him. If it were not for him, we could not have taken to this path of devotional service. Sri Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita 5000 years ago in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Dear devotees, after he spoke Bhagavad Gita, in Dwapar Yuga, Krishna could not create a single new devotee after speaking Bhagavad Gita. After the entire Bhagavad Gita was spoken, there was nobody in Dwapar Yuga who put a dhoti and tilak and came to Mangalarti. What is the effectiveness of speaking Bhagavad Gita? If an acharya who practices Bhagavad Gita in his life is nowhere to be found. So Krishna spoke the theory of Bhakti Yoga in Bhagavad Gita. But to demonstrate Bhakti Yoga in practicality, you need a person who embodies Bhakti Yoga. And therefore, only when he appeared again as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu in this age of Kali and took on the role of a devotee, at that particular time were all the inhabitants of the world able to understand that this is how a devotee is supposed to be. Therefore, Sri Krishna may be the Acharya who spoke Bhagavad Gita, but Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the Acharya who practiced Bhagavad Gita and who demonstrated the application of Bhagavad Gita in day-to-day life. This is the difference between Sri Krishna's incarnation and Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation. Dear devotees, when Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita 5000 years ago, there was deep dissatisfaction also within Krishna's heart. Does anybody know what was the dissatisfaction in Krishna's heart 5000 years ago? Ever since he left Vrindavana and he moved to Mathura and Dwaraka, he had not picked up a flute. He stayed in Dwaraka for almost 70 to 80 years and he never picked up a flute. Can you imagine that particular person who, as his favorite childhood pastime, has played upon the flute, suddenly has to give it up for the sake of becoming a king? And every single day in Mathura and Dwaraka, he would terribly miss the Vrajavasis. They were very simple-hearted villagers. They were not sophisticated like the citizens of Dwaraka. The queens of Dwaraka, each and every one of them wanted a separate palace. Dear devotees, ask a queen to adjust in somebody else's palace and there will be quarrel. When Krishna got married to 16,000 princesses, he had to ensure that each marriage was being held in separate locations. And Krishna had to manifest 16,000 forms simultaneously to get married to 16,000 queens. Does anybody know how Krishna found 16,000 queens? Yes?
They were captive by Bhamasura.
Yes.
So he killed Bhamasura and then...
Wonderful. So they were held captive by a demon named Bhaumasura. And Krishna killed Bhaumasura and rescued all of them. Dear devotees, these girls who were held captive by the demon Bhaumasura, they were residing in their individual kingdoms previously. They might have had some love interest in life previously. But ever since they were captured by Bhaumasura, they had no choice but to surrender to him. Krishna rescued them, and then the society would not accept them back. So they married Sri Krishna. Although they had love for Sri Krishna, but there is a good possibility that Sri Krishna might not have been the first love of their lives. One queen was special because Sri Krishna was the first love of her life. Does anybody know what is the name of this queen? Rukmini. She was most special. Sri Krishna was the love of her life, and she loved him so much that even after Krishna and Balram had humiliated her brother Rukmi, she never uttered a single word against Krishna or Balram after she had gotten married. Her nature was so gentle. Krishna was Rukmini's first love of life. But who was Krishna's first love of life? That is the source of dissatisfaction, dear devotees. Even in Dwaraka, Sri Krishna could not forget the Vrajavasis. And especially, Sri Krishna always hankered for the love of Sri Radha. Now it is impossible for Sri Krishna to go to Vrindavan, and it is impossible for the Vrajavasis to come to Dwaraka. Why is it impossible? Because Mathura was constantly attacked by Jarasandha. In fact, he attacked it 17 times, and the 18th time Krishna left Mathura to go to Dwaraka. If Jarasandha would come to know that Krishna has a weak spot in Vrindavan, then he would immediately attack the Vrajavasis. On that pretext, it was very difficult for Krishna to come back to Vrindavan. Also, dear devotees, a very practical question. Somebody who becomes a king, has it ever happened in history that a king has gone back to become a cowherd again? Never in the history of any civilization has a king gone back to become a villager again. The Vrajavasis also felt insecure in going to Dwaraka because the residents of Dwaraka would never acknowledge their greatness. For them, Nanda and Yashoda were not the real parents of Krishna. According to the residents of Dwaraka, who were the real parents of Sri Krishna? Devaki and Vasudeva. It was very difficult, dear devotees, for a meeting to be arranged. Finally, after more than 70 years of separation, a particular event occurred when Krishna and the Vrajavasis were able to come face to face. This was in Kurukshetra, before the battle. And Sri Krishna had arranged the battle in such a way that just before the war of Kurukshetra, there would be a solar eclipse. And taking a bath in the holy lake in Kurukshetra just before the solar eclipse would guarantee liberation. So all the soldiers were eager to take a bath in the holy lake before the war began during the solar eclipse. The Vrajavasis also heard of this, and they also arrived at Kurukshetra. Dear devotees, after 70 years, in a small tent outside the borders of Kurukshetra, Sri Krishna came face to face with the Vrajavasis. Can Sri Krishna show his face to the Vrajavasis at this point of time? Is it possible? Very difficult. Very difficult. And you know how the Vrajavasis were treated by the guards of Dwaraka? Like some villagers have come. All of you assemble at one side. Our king, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, will come here shortly to see you. So all of them were made to sit on one side. And then the king of Dwaraka came with all his royal paraphernalia to see all of them. Dear devotees, Krishna at this point of time can at least speak freely for some time with Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. But can Krishna speak freely to Srimati Radharani at this particular occasion in front of all the Vrajavasis? When Sri Krishna entered into that tent where they were to meet the Vrajavasis, his eyes were searching for one personality. But that personality had a veil on her head, looking down and crying. After 70 years of separation, Krishna met the first love of his life again in Kurukshetra. And when Srimati Radharani slightly glanced at him, this was the moment that Sri Krishna realized, I do not have the capacity to love in this manner. Actually, I have failed in my love. I am to blame for leaving Vrindavana. On whom should the blame be put for leaving Vrindavana, dear devotees? Krishna or the Vrajavasis? Please say. See, some of you are a little afraid. Because Krishna is present right here. And we are about to put a blame on him. Dear devotees, don't speak like Vaidhi Bhaktas, devotees following rules and regulations. Speak like spontaneous devotees. Those who want to have an active relationship with Krishna. Who is to be held responsible for all this tragedy? Please tell me. Krishna. Yes, that is a Gaudiya Vaishnava. Your love will never be celebrated, Sri Krishna, in the age of Dwapar. Nobody will ever come to know that there was somebody who loved you like Sri Radha. Therefore, it is very important, Sri Krishna, that you pay a very heavy price for what you have put the Vrajavasis through. Therefore, when he was speaking Bhagavad Gita, oh, Sthita Pragya, the person who is fully satisfied within his heart and has no lamentation and has no hankerings. Krishna, look within yourself. Are you okay, Krishna? The devotee commentator on the 10th canto, Sri Hari Suri says, Swatmapi upadishyatam. Look in the mirror and give these instructions, Sri Krishna. Actually, most of the instructions in Bhagavad Gita were meant for your own self. Poor Arjuna became the vehicle. You are saying in the Bhagavad Gita, one should not become angry, one should not become greedy. During Damodar Leela, who became angry? You became angry and broke the pot. Yes? Who was greedy for breast milk? In anger, who bit his lower lip during Damodar Leela? Dear devotees, please tell me. Krishna. He is the Acharya of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, dear devotees, Krishna has to address this source of dissatisfaction within his heart. For this reason, he has to come back again in the age of Kali. Because this dissatisfaction was that I want to experience what Sri Radha has gone through. Otherwise, my love will not be complete. But Sri Krishna, if you understand what is Sri Radha's love, then you can no longer remain the Acharya of Bhagavad Gita. Because the Acharya of Bhagavad Gita has put many terms and conditions in the Bhagavad Gita. My devotee should always be equipoised. My devotee should always be happy. The entire 12th chapter is filled with terms and conditions. Whether you are respected or disrespected, whether happiness or unhappiness, one who remains equal is very dear to me and is my devotee. Why so many prerequisites, Sri Krishna? You do not understand the mood of Sri Radha, actually. If you understand what is her mood, then you will understand that bhakti is not a transaction. The devotees are coming to you without any expectations. And hence, you should also give yourself to the devotees without any expectations. But as Sri Krishna, you are placing many expectations upon the devotees. Therefore, as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, when he took on the mood of Sri Radha, and what is the mood of Sri Radha? The mood of Sri Radha is that no matter what happens, even if I have to take the greatest anxiety in the world, let my lover Sri Krishna be happy. You will have to put others before you, Krishna. You'll have to learn this art. Because till now you are the first. And everybody else comes later. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the, amongst trees I am the banyan tree. Amongst this I am this. Among that I am that. Everything full of I, me and mine. Sri Krishna, let's put the I and mine aside for the time being. If you have to come as a devotee, you have to learn to put somebody else before you. Alright, therefore no more terms and conditions. When you come in the age of Kali, you will have to give this bhakti freely. To even somebody who doesn't deserve to get this bhakti. Will you agree to this?
Yes.
All of you will agree because you are on the receiving end. But it's very difficult for Sri Krishna to agree to this. Because he has his own personality. Muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. In the Bhagavatam, he says, he admits, at one point of time I will give impersonal liberation very easily. But I will not give my bhakti very easily, my prema very easily. Why? Krishna is very hesitant to invite a new living entity into his pastimes. Why is Krishna very hesitant? Just like all of us are very hesitant to enter into new relationships. Dear devotees, Krishna knows one fact. All of you have taken on the name Das and Dasi here. That is correct. But when you go to the spiritual world, let's say today, Vishal Prabhu, he gets initiated tomorrow. After initiation, you will have a name. What name? Something, something. And what after that? Das. What is the meaning of Das? Servant. Oh, Vishal Prabhu will take on the identity of servant. And let's say, we hope, in this life you get perfected. And you go back to Goloka Vrindavan. And in Goloka Vrindavan, you ask something to Sri Krishna. Krishna, I want to eat this. Can Sri Krishna say no to you? Can Sri Krishna say no to his Premi Bhakta, his loving devotee? So who is Das in the spiritual world? Krishna knows this fact, that these people take on the name Das and Dasi, but actually in the spiritual world I will have to become their Das. For this reason, Krishna is very hesitant to invite a new living entity in the spiritual world. he is hesitant to enter into a relationship because he knows once I enter into a relationship with Vishal Prabhu, I can never send him back into the material world. I can never cut off the relationship. Therefore, I will take my time. Sweet time. Therefore, all the terms and conditions. And therefore, in Dwapar Yuga, after speaking Bhagavad Gita, nobody became a devotee. Who will fulfill all those terms and conditions? Maybe one or two may be there. Akrura, Uddhav. But they are also eternally perfected associates. Krishna has to bring his devotees with him. Can you imagine? Krishna cannot create new devotees. Krishna has to bring all of his devotees with him. Caitanya Mahaprabhu has the potency to create devotees out of non-devotees. That is the special contribution of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is carrying the mood of Sri Radha without any preconditions. But we also have to understand that in order to receive Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's special gift, our attitude has to be different. We cannot carry the same attitudes that many religions around the world are carrying with them, including Vedic religion. Most of Vedic religion is about following rules and regulations in order to get something in the future. That is what most religions around the world are. Therefore, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu wants to give something which is easy yet most difficult. Dear devotees, Bhakti Yoga is the easiest process. In the Narad Bhakti Sutra, something is specified. Sutra number 58. Please repeat after me. Anyasmat Saulabhyam Bhaktau. Success is easier to attain by devotional service than by any other process. Easiest process. And see the contradictory nature of bhakti. Sri Rupa Goswami will say in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu the exact opposite. Sri Rupa Goswami says, please repeat after me, Sudurlabha. The fourth characteristic of pure bhakti is that it is extremely rare to attain. So, is it easy to attain or rare to attain? Dear devotee, it is very easy to enter into the path. Very easy to enter into the path by the mercy of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. All the literature is there. All the teachings are there. Everything is there to help you enter into the path. But to come out on the other side, Prema Bhakti, pure love of Godhead, is most difficult. It is going to take a person of exceptional good fortune to come out on the other side. Why is it so? Most people do not have the proper attitude to understand the mode of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. They take the religion of Caitanya Mahaprabhu like any other religion in the world. Enter into the religion, follow the rules and regulations, get the result, and you will be happily living ever after. That is what is the succinct formula that all religions tell you. Enter into the religion, follow the process diligently, get the result, live happily ever after. Christianity, enter into the religion, accept Jesus as the only Son of God and the only way to achieve, heaven. Follow the rules of Christianity properly, go to heaven, and what do you do after entering heaven? Live happily ever after. That's Vedic religion. Follow bhakti, follow the rules and regulations, then you go to Vaikuntha, and what do you do in Vaikuntha? Live happily ever after. So if all religiosity is about living happily ever after, where is the question of prema? Unconditionally loving somebody. This entire process of following religion, getting liberated and living happily ever after has selfishness written all over it. Therefore, Krishna himself is not satisfied with this sort of religiosity. For this reason, It is very clearly specified in the Caitanya-caritamrta that life is worthless without prema, without actual love. Liberation is a very insignificant achievement in comparison to the achievement of unconditional love, dear devotees. Very insignificant achievement. This is specified by the acharyas in Caitanya-caritamrta. Please repeat after me. Prema dhana vena vyartha, daridra jivana, dasa kari vetan more, deha prema dhana. Vishal Prabhu, you have a good voice. Can you please read the translation loudly?
Without love of Godhead, my life is useless. Therefore, I pray that you accept me as your servant and give me the salary of ecstatic love of God.
It's a very important statement, dear devotees. Without prema, without the wealth of prema, my life is useless. Therefore, O Krishna, making me your servant, don't give me liberation. What should you give me? Prema. This is where the attitude of many individuals is not in the correct place. O Sri Krishna, making me your servant, give me good money as a devotee. O Sri Krishna, making me your servant, give me a good position in the society as a devotee. O Sri Krishna, making me your servant, let everybody respect me. O Sri Krishna, making me your devotee, let me get a good spouse in the society of devotees. A beautiful one. Then how will I get prema? Because the motivations are not in the correct place, therefore it becomes very difficult for a person to reach the other end. And people end up getting all sorts of side effects of bhakti, but they do not get the main crux of bhakti, which is Krishna prema. And for this reason, devotees keep following rules and regulations. Dear devotees, two types of practitioners are present on this path of Krishna bhakti. We call our bhakti as sadhan bhakti, bhakti in practice. Sadhan bhakti is categorized into two types. Please repeat after me. The first is Vaidhi bhakti. Vaidhi bhakti comes from the term vidhi. Vidhi has two meanings. One meaning is rules, another meaning is Brahma. Lord Brahma is also known as vidhi. It is Brahma who created all the rules of the material universe. Therefore, one of the name of Brahma is also vidhi. It is vidhi who created the vidhis of this world. Therefore, his name became vidhi. So, vidhi means rules and regulations. Where do these rules and regulations come from? From my mind? No. They have to come from Shastra. Where they have to come from? Shastra, from the scriptures. A person who performs this type of bhakti is known as a Vaidhi Bhakta. Get up every morning at 4 o'clock, Vishal Prabhu. Otherwise, Krishna will not be happy. Come in the temple and attend Mangal Aarti. Otherwise, chant your 16 rounds properly, Prabhu. No offenses. Otherwise, because of the fear of otherwise, many of us are continuing on the path. What will happen if I do not execute properly? Then otherwise will happen. And we do not want to see otherwise. How long will we continue our bhakti on this level of motivation? there has to be a higher motivation than this. Higher motivation, dear devotees, is called as, please repeat after me, Raganuga Bhakti. What is Raganuga Bhakti? I'll explain very shortly. A devotee becomes fortunate and becomes disgusted with their current level of advancement. I am stagnated in my level of advancement, I should do something about it. Then the devotee finds out from the tradition, you are supposed to spontaneously love Krishna rather than worry so much about the rules and regulations. Rules and regulations you should continue to follow diligently, but not out of fear. Rules and regulations should be followed so that finally I develop some trace of attachment to Sri Krishna. But in order to develop attachment to Sri Krishna, I should know what that attachment looks like. So there are already existing examples of such attachment. The best examples of attachment to Sri Krishna are the Vrajavasis. The Vrajavasis love Krishna in 4 main relationships: dasya, servitorship, sakhya, friendship, vatsalya, parenthood, madhurya, conjugal love. Then the devotee aspires to develop the mood of one such Vrajavasi. I would like to have a mood similar to the mood of Nanda Maharaj. Although I can never become Nanda Maharaj, but I would like to have a mood which is similar to the mood of Nanda Maharaj. Then a devotee develops the correct motivation for coming to the stage of the second type of bhakti. Which type of bhakti is it, dear devotees? Raganuga Bhakti. Jai. Shri Radha Gopinath Ji ki Jai. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give specifically this type of bhakti. Because before Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the entire world was practicing Vaidhi Bhakti. The entire world was practicing Vaidhi Bhakti. Although Vaidhi Bhakti is very good, much better than remaining a non-devotee. But this is not the inner heart of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's heart desires all of you Gaudiya Vaishnavas should become followers of the eternal Vrajavasi associates of Sri Krishna. This is the hankering of the heart of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the purpose for which he came in this world, dear devotees. He removed all the restrictions on the path of bhakti, not only so that we can practice the rules and regulations nicely, but also, mainly, so that we can develop that prema which is present in Sri Radha and the Vrajavasis. What does Sri Radha want finally? Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu has come with the mood of Sri Radha. What does Sri Radha finally want?
She wants everybody to love her Lord.
She wants everybody to love Krishna. And she wants as many people as possible to facilitate Krishna's happiness in Vrindavana. The love of the gopis is not like the love of the queens of Dwaraka. The gopis never asked for a separate palace. Did Krishna build a single house or palace for any of the gopis? When Krishna invited them by playing his flute, did he invite them separately or did he invite them all together? All together, right? And when did he invite them? In the middle of the night. Where did he invite them? In the middle of the forest. In one of the most unsafe places in the world, in the middle of the forest, he invited them. And after inviting them, what did he tell them? Go back to your homes. If he would have tried to treat Rukmini Devi even 10% of how he treated the gopis, Rukmini Devi would have fainted. One time he made a slight joke with Rukmini Devi. Why don't you find somebody else? Rukmini Devi fainted on the spot. And he dare not try it with Satyabhama Devi. Because her mood is the opposite. Rukmini Devi is very submissive and gentle. After she became unconscious, he revived her and told, I was joking with you. But he will not try that with Satyabhama Devi. But with the gopis, he called them all in one place by playing his flute on the fifth note. The fifth note is the voice of the cuckoo. It resembles the voice of the cuckoo. It's a very piteous note in order to invite somebody to come. When they came in the middle of the night, he told them, why are you here? I am just playing the flute like that. You're all girls of good families. Go back. But they stayed. They never went back. And then Krishna celebrated the festival of Rasa Leela with all of them. And no separate mansions, dear devotees. And after that, when Krishna saw that a little pride was developing in their hearts, this pride was nothing in comparison to the pride that the queens of Dwaraka have. A little pride was developing in their heart. Then he disappeared from amongst them. And then in the middle of the night, the gopis, instead of individually finding Krishna, they all got together. And they went to the bank of the Yamuna and they cried loudly. Dear devotees, this is the difference between the love of the gopis and the love of the queens of Dwaraka. The gopis were okay with sharing their love as long as Sri Krishna is happy. This love is not to be found with anybody else. Dear devotees, it is not to be found with anybody else. The queens of Dwaraka, every queen is busy sending the other queen away so that I can be alone with Sri Krishna. There is a difference in mood. And the queens have their own sophisticated style of speaking. Krishna sometimes wants to hear slang. You understand what is village slang? This desire cannot be fulfilled with the sophisticated queens of Dwaraka. For long in Vrindavan, since I have left Vrindavan, I have not heard my friends verbally chastise me strongly. Nobody in Dwaraka has the courage to do that. His friends in Vrindavan would give it back to him in the same currency, dear devotees. Mother Yashoda, she would take a betel leaf, pan. She would chew half upon it and give the remaining half to me. So very sweet. Rupa Goswami describes in Padyavali. Mother Yashoda used to chew upon half the pan and feed remaining half to me. Today, who will do that in Dwaraka? Is there anybody who dares to feed the king of Dwaraka their half chewed pan? This person lost out so much after leaving Vrindavan, dear devotees. We have to understand. And therefore it is our attempt as Gaudiya Vaishnavas to reunite him with the Vrajavasis. And the best way is to also develop the mood of the Vrajavasis. But that mood cannot be developed if we simply remain stuck on the path of rules and regulations without any spontaneous attachment. For this reason, dear devotees, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance is extremely special today. Because it was he who took on the mood of Sri Radha and taught us that there is something higher in life rather than the business transaction of follow rules and get liberation. Bhagavan came and gave love unconditionally to individuals who were willing to surrender unconditionally. No give and take. Do all of you agree to this contract? There's only one contract, and that Bhagavan will be unconditional and you will have to be unconditional. Dear devotees, are you willing to fulfill your part of the contract? This is the shortest and sweetest contract to be made between you and Caitanya Mahaprabhu. How many are willing to say that yes, I will be unconditional in my approach towards Sri Krishna? See, very few hands. This is the reason why Sri Rupa Goswami said Bhakti is very difficult to perfect. Is very difficult to perfect. Dear devotees, for a Vaidhi Bhakta, it is specified by Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the Caitanya-caritamrta. Simply by following the rules and regulations, it is difficult. Dear devotees, how many here want to achieve Goloka Vrindavana at the end of your lives? Please raise your hands. Oh wow, we all want the benefits. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, please repeat after me. Vidhi marge na paiye, Braje Krishna Chandra. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhu, you have a good voice. Can you read loudly? Yeah, please read loudly. Yeah.
One can attain such perfection only by spontaneous love of God. One cannot obtain Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan simply by serving the Lord according to regulative principles.
Oh my goodness. As it is, I have not made any changes in the translation. Oh, but I was told chant Hare Krishna, follow the regulative principles and be happy. Yeah, you will be happy. But do you want to be happy in Vaikuntha or in Golok Vrindavan? That is the question. That fine print was not specified. How many of you wish to become happy in Vaikuntha?
It's quite an improvement.
Yeah, definitely it's an improvement from where we are currently living. Oh, everybody wants the highest fruit from the tallest tree. So there is something else. And that we have to attain spontaneous bhakti, which is known as Raganuga Bhakti. It is not possible by following Vaidhi Bhakti. And I am not speaking without proof, without pramana. I do not like to speak without pramana. Therefore, I have given the pramana. I have given the proof. This proof says that by following Vaidhi Bhakti you cannot attain. Where is the proof which says that by following Raganuga Bhakti you can attain? For that also I will specify a proof. Because I will not speak anything without giving a proof. Pramanam or giving proof is very important. In the same Caitanya-caritamrta it is said, Raganuga marge tare Bhajaye jana Se jana paye vraje Vrajendra nandana. Vishal Prabhu, please read loudly.
If one worship the Lord on the path of spontaneous love and goes to Vrindavan, he receives the shelter of Vrajendra Nandana, the son of Nanda Maharaj.
So this is what is needed for attaining Goloka Vrindavan. And this gift is not available outside the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very easily. It is very rare to be found outside the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hardly anybody understands this distinction of Vaidhi and Raga outside of the Sampradaya of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. It is Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu who made it very clear to Sri Rupa Goswami. And it is by the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami that we know today that not only do we have to worship Sri Krishna with rules and regulations, there is something else which has to be present. And that something else is called as Raga, spontaneous attachment. And unless there is Raga, spontaneous attachment present, it is impossible to attain Goloka Vrindavan. As difficult as it may sound, this is Gaudiya Vaishnavism, dear devotees. So I have some good news and bad news. The good news is that everybody will get an entrance into the path of bhakti, irrespective of qualification. Now the bad news. Everybody may not have the qualification to attain Goloka Vrindavan. But sometimes when we hear difficult news, it makes us sober. It makes us introspect more as to what I can do in order to attain what I should ideally attain. So this, dear devotees, is the mood of Vraja. Sri Rupa Goswami says, start preparing yourself, your mind and your body today for becoming a devotee of the Raganuga Bhakti style. How do we become that? Sri Rupa Goswami says, it cannot happen by any mechanical formula. There is no rule and regulation to follow. If you have the good fortune, you will come in contact with a devotee who is already on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. By looking at the mood of such a devotee, you will develop the hankering for a similar mood. By developing hankering for a similar mood, then you will hanker, I want to remember Krishna in the mood of a Vrajavasi. And for such a person who has developed this hankering, Sri Rupa Goswami says, Krishnam smaranjanam chasya preshtham nijasamihitam tattat katharatas chasau kuryad vasam vraje sada. Krishnam smaran, while remembering Krishna always. Janam cha asya, and not only Krishna, also his dear associates. Which dear associate? Preshtham nija samihitam, that associate who is closest to your heart. For some of you it may be Nanda Maharaj, or some of you it may be Mother Yashoda, for some of you it may be Subal, Shri Dam, that dear associate who is dearest, closest to your mood. Tat tat katharatas. In this way remember Krishna in the mood of a dear associate of Sri Krishna. Get personally involved in the pastimes of Sri Krishna. Kuryad vasam vraje. In this way, in your mind, always reside in Sri Vrindavan, dear devotees. This is the secret that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu revealed to Sri Rupa Goswami. And once you develop this mood, then when you remember the pastimes of Sri Krishna with the Vrajavasis, then you will feel the emotions that the Vrajavasis used to feel. Dear devotees, how many of us would like to experience a small sample given by Sri Rupa Goswami? Yes? Alright? So we will today try to experience a small sample that was left behind by Sri Rupa Goswami so that we also can get a small taste of it. Dear devotees, let us take our minds to Sri Vrindavan. 5,000 years ago. In Sri Vrindavan, Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani, they were growing up together at different places. Krishna used to stay at Nanda Maharaj's palace. Srimati Radharani used to stay at the palace of Sri Vrishabhanu. Sometimes Krishna and Srimati Radharani for the first time when they saw each other, there was a spontaneous attraction that developed in both of their hearts. But their age was such that they could not freely speak to each other. Dear devotees, this stage of love, when the lover and beloved fall for each other for the first time, but they are hesitant to speak to each other because of social restrictions, has a technical name given by Sri Rupa Goswami. Please repeat the name after me. This technical name of this stage is called Purvarag. Purvarag is blossoming love. But they are afraid of the society. What will the society say? Dear devotees, previously society was a hindrance in the meeting of the lover and beloved. Nowadays there is no Purvarag. If a boy likes a girl or a girl likes a boy, you go on Facebook, type their name, click on their profile. In 10 minutes you find out everything about them. Nah, I don't like this person. Purvarag is destroyed by immediate accessibility in modern age. Previously there was curiosity. Oh, who is she? Oh, who is he? So even in the material world there is a perverted reflection of Purvarag, but originally Purvarag exists in the spiritual world. And you cannot, there are a few friends who are mutuals, you can ask them who is she, but you cannot ask too much. Because if you ask too much, then why are you interested? Krishna, have you fallen for the daughter of Maharaj Rishabhanu? So he cannot ask too much and is always curious. She is also curious. She has never seen such a person. Never seen such a person in her life. Dear devotees, one fine day, Sri Krishna decides that today I will attract her. And Sri Krishna starts playing his flute on the banks of the Yamuna. At that point of time, something happens. Sri Radha later that day described to her friend Sri Rupa Manjari. Who is Sri Rupa Manjari in Caitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela? Rupa Goswami. And it was he who compiled this verse in the Padyavali. So, this verse is in the meter Shikharini. Shikharini is a meter. Same as Jagannath Ashtakam. I will sing the verse. The meter is slightly difficult. Alright? So, if you know how to sing Jagannath Ashtakam, sing with me. Don't sing behind me. Alright? Puro nila jyotsna tadanu mriga nabhi parimalas tato lila venu kvanitamanu kanchi kalarava tado vidyudvalli valayta chamatkar lahari Tarangalavanyam tadanu sahajananda udagat Shikharini. So the name of every meter should also fit in the meter. So what is the name of the meter? Shikharini. Sri Radha came back that day and spoke something to her friend Sri Rupa Manjari. I was happily walking along the banks of the Yamuna. Suddenly something happened. Puro nila jyotsna. In the distance in the forest, I saw a brilliant, beautiful light. I was immediately attracted to this brilliant, beautiful effulgence. Dear devotees, how many of you have seen a brilliant, beautiful, blue, attractive effulgence coming from the depths of the forest? Somewhat, this is one of the few photographs that I could get. It's very difficult to find images for these verses. Very difficult. Sri Radha said, I was immediately attracted. I started walking in that direction. Tadanu, thereafter, Mriganabhi Parimalas. I got the fragrance of deer musk. Dear devotees, it is impossible to find deer musk today. Genuine deer musk, a small cubic centimeter of it will make the entire room fragrant. Dear devotees, this is genuine deer musk. As I was approaching, this fragrance of deer musk entered into my nose. I was further captivated. Tato lila venum. As I went nearby, I heard the soft, sweet fifth note of the flute, as if somebody was calling me. Anu Kanchi Kalarava. When I went nearby, I heard the tinkling of a sash of bells. When I went nearby, I looked from the corner of my eyes. I saw Vidyud Valli Valaita Chamatkar Lahari. I saw a beautiful person, as if a beautiful dark rain cloud was surrounded by a flash of lightning. That beautiful dark rain cloud is the body of Sri Krishna, and that flash of lightning is his brilliant garment. On a normal cloud, the lightning disappears in a flash, but this is permanent lightning around a cloud. Taranga Lavanyam. I saw Lavanya. Dear friend, I saw Lavanya. Does anybody know what is the meaning of Lavanya? Usually Lavanya is translated as beauty. But beauty is not a suitable term for Lavanya. Rupa Goswami gives a separate definition for Lavanya. Mukta phaleshu chhayayas taralatvam ivantara. When each and every limb of a person's body gives out waves of radiance, and this radiance captures each and every sense of your body, this beauty is called Lavanya. Modern fashion designers have picked up on this. Nowadays, it's not only about beauty, it's about radiance. All the beauty products, they're not simply about beauty. Nowadays, beauty is old-fashioned. What you will find in modern days is radiance. So that radiance originally comes from Sri Krishna. Sahaj Ananda Udagat. When I saw him, there was a natural happiness in my mind I had never experienced before. But this person was most crooked. As I was glancing happily upon him, suddenly he looked with a crooked sidelong glance as if telling me that I have seen you. I had to run away from there. This, dear devotees, is the Purva Rag that Sri Radha experienced. How many of you would like to experience more such emotions in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Goswami? If yes, please raise your hands confidently. Yeah? I think some were still stunned by the verse. This is the translation. Prabhu, can you kindly read the translation?
Dear Saki, first I saw a splendid blue effulgence. Then I smelled the fragrance of deer musk. Then I heard playful flute music. Then I heard the sweet tinkling of a sash of bells. Then I saw waves of wonderful handsomeness encircled by a stationary lightning flash. As a result of this, I experienced immense natural bliss within myself.
See, this is the translation. Translations are good, but what you need is transcreation of the verse. When the experience of the verse is recreated, and when you feel the experience of the verse, that is what you call transcreating a verse in real life. Dear devotees, the author Sri Rupa Goswami has hidden two things behind the verse, which are not evident in the translation. This in Sanskrit poetry is called Vyanjana Vritti, implied meaning. Some statements have direct meaning, no hidden meaning. For example, This chandelier is yellowish in color. No hidden meaning behind it, dear devotees. But some statements have a hidden meaning behind them. For example, if I go to a school and if I say the school bell rang, the direct meaning is the school bell rang, but there is an implied meaning. What is the implied meaning of the school bell rang? Yeah. Time to go home, at least in India. It's time to go home. It's time to go home. But that was not specified in the statement. So this is what you call Vyanjana Vritti, implied meaning. In the verse, there are two Vyanjana Vrittis, two implied meanings which are hidden. The first is as follows, dear devotees. Sri Radha was saying, indicating to her Sakhi Sri Rupa Manjari, some hunters catch their prey through the eyes. Some hunters catch their prey through the sense of smell. Some hunters catch their prey through sound. For the first time, here is a hunter who catches his prey through all the senses simultaneously. There is a second implied meaning behind it. Usually when hunters catch their prey, the prey experiences immense suffering. But this is such a hunter. Sahaj Anand Udagat. I experienced immense natural happiness within myself. Dear devotees, how many of us would like to be caught in the nets of this particular hunter? So these are the implied meanings behind the verses. This is the mood that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us. Dear devotees, please aspire for these moods of Sri Vrindavana. Because bhakti is much beyond the financial transaction of give and take. Oh Krishna, I promise you, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, and every day 16 rounds of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the rest of my life. And Krishna, in return, you take me back home, back to Godhead. Is it okay, Krishna? Yeah, okay. Vaikuntha. But if you want something beyond that, that cannot be had by rules and regulations. That can only be had by a person who has the good fortune to have a heart which is similar to the heart of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Dear devotees, at this point I will pause my speech. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvam sah purayantu tat. Yadatra saushtabam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. It is possible I might have made a mistake while speaking something. Vidvam sah, but you are all learned devotees. There is a college here, Bhakti Vedanta College, so there are many learned devotees here. Purayantu tat, please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushtavam kinchit, if there was anything nice in the presentation, a single slide, a single verse, a single sentence, a single word, a single syllable, or even half a syllable, it doesn't get below that in Sanskrit grammar. Even if half a syllable was nice, please remember, tad guroreva, it belongs to my Guru Janas, my Diksha Guru, my Shiksha Gurus, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, all the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas from all the families of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu in the past, in the future and in the present, including all of you are also my Gurus. It belongs to you, may nahi, it doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. So my thanks again to Ekachakra Ram Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for kindly opening the doors of Sri Radhadesh for myself. My sincere thanks also to Premananda Prabhu, my god brother who drove me here. All the wonderful devotees who are present here, serving here in various individual capacities. Dear devotees, each and every one of you may be having your own struggles in life. Please know that, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is available for each and every one of you, for every devotee who has the proper attitude. Dear devotees, I sincerely hope and pray that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy manifests in the lives of each and every one of you, despite all the difficulties that you are going through in your individual lives. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So we have some time for question and answers? Yes. So we will have some question and answers? Yes. Prabhu, your good name, Prabhu?
Rohini Nandana Das.
Rohini Nandan Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I have several questions.
So what we can do is one question, then we will do round robin and come back to you.
Monopolize the situation. So, so you said that after Bhagavad Gita there was no pure devotee or people who develop love for God. I would say not even before, because the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Imam Vivasvate Yogam, was spoken to Vivasvan. So from Vivasvan to the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there were no pure devotees. Seems like nobody developed love for God. Is it a correct analysis, or you can say something different?
There were pure devotees in different rasas, but very few to be found. And especially, you may not be able to find a devotee who has come to that stage of man mana bhav mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. Always think of me, invest your mind in me. Who is the practical example, dear devotees, of always invest your mind in me, think of me? You can count on your fingers.
So for millions of years, there were no
I will not speak
hopeless.
Yeah.
Hopeless.
I will not speak without proof, because there is a proof for this. There is the 4th Mangalacharan verse of Sri Caitanya-caritamrta specifies this. And Anarpita charim chirat karunayavatirna kalo. Prabhu, kindly read, the highlighted portion.
He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Sorry.
What no incarnation has offered before. Not even Sri Krishna.
But at this point comes another question.
Yes.
Because we know that, as you said, the associates of Lord Chaitanya are all liberated, Gaurangera Sangigana, Nitya Siddha Korima, but we know that the gopis, and they are part of his internal potency, is not such a cheap thing, it's a direct expansion. Srimati Radharani is direct expansion of his internal pleasure potency. So it's not so easy, because there are some Vaishnava lines that they say, okay, we have to talk about the gopis, the pastimes of the gopis, and they are mostly talking about these things, but if there is no cleaning of the heart, Sajjiya tendency is there. So what do you think about this?
Your concern is very valid. I agree with you 100%. Without cleansing the heart, how can one understand these things? My question to you is this: how do you cleanse the heart?
By following the Bhakti, by following the process that the Acharya gave us, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, Chetudharpan Majana, cleans the heart. If I follow sadhana process, even if I don't like, but I follow because this is the instruction of the Acharya. Srila Prabhupada gave us this instruction. Many times he wrote a letter, if you do this for the whole life, you will go back to God.
Sure.
So what does it mean?
Srila Prabhupada himself wrote, and I showed with proof, that following Vaidhi Bhakti will never take you to Goloka Vrindavan. It can take you back to Godhead, but do you want to go back to Godhead or do you want to go Goloka Vrindavan?
Wherever is Prabhupada, wherever is Srila Prabhupada, I want to go.
Srila Prabhupada himself is a resident of which planet? Goloka Vrindavan. Yes. So, in order to go to Goloka Vrindavan, one cannot forever stay away from the pastimes of Sri Krishna with the Brajavasis. What is purification of the heart? Purification of the heart essentially means purification of the most important enemy, which is lust. Let's be very honest. All others are secondary. The primary enemy of the heart is lust. Purification of lust is purification of the heart. How do we get rid of lust? Many times devotees say, first purify yourself, then qualified. First purify yourself, then you listen to these pastimes. Sri Shukadev Goswami in the Srimad Bhagavatam says something opposite, and I would like to show with proof, because this proof has been quoted many times by our acharyas. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-39, one of the final verses of Rasa Leela. After the Rasa Leela ends, after Parikshit Maharaj has heard the 5 chapters of Rasa Leela. Vikriditam rajavadhu biridam cha vishno shraddhanvito nushrunayadtha varnayedyah bhaktim param bhagavati pratilabhya kamam ridrogamashva pahinotya chirena dhirah. Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
Anyone who faithfully hears or describes the Lord's playful affairs with the young gopis of Vrindavan will attain the Lord's pure devotional service. Thus, he will quickly become sober and conquer lust, the disease of the heart.
Conquering of lust is the cause of listening of the pastime or is an effect of the listening of these pastimes? According to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Please tell me, Prabhu.
By hearing,
Yes.
conquer lust.
So, conquering of lust should be a cause or an effect? An effect. But there is a condition. Shraddhanvito. In the association of a devotee who has properly understood, not by yourself. A devotee who will clarify all the misconceptions first, will tell you what is the tattva first, then will introduce you to these subject matters. Otherwise, you will remain stuck between two positions. Position 1, I am forever unqualified, so let me never read. Position 2, forget about qualification, let's just read. One of these two mistakes will occur. Therefore, the intelligent devotee is he who understands what is the exact qualification required to conquer lust. The exact qualification is to hear faithfully from a devotee who already has conquered lust and is situated on the other end. Not avoidance of the pastimes. Avoidance will make us dry-hearted. So, I hope this satisfies your query. I was personally tested on this very point. I will tell you an incident from my life, because a few years ago I developed, some years ago, almost 10 years ago, when I started reading about the differences between Vaidhi and Raganuga Bhakti. At that point of time I had approached my Guru Maharaj and said, Maharaj, this is the type of bhakti which I feel Caitanya Mahaprabhu is, asking us to do. At that time my Guru Maharaj put a little test. He said, but you are not qualified. I said, what is the reason? You have lust in your heart. He just said straight away on my face, you have lust in your heart. At that time I quoted this verse, Vikriditam Brajavadhu Biridam Cha Vishnu. But that is what the Bhagavatam says. Oh, you know the secret. All right. So you can read further, no problem. Now you know the secret. Because it is very difficult to come out of this cyclic thought pattern. Unless you are qualified, you cannot read. So, and you are always going to remain unqualified. So how will that pattern break? It will break only when you hear faithfully from a devotee who is already situated on the other side. That is the answer to your query. Alright, thank you, Prabhu. So, yeah, we'll go to him, then we'll come to Prabhu. Yes.
Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned the nectar of devotion, that by practicing Vaidhi, Raganuga will come. So, yeah, it's not either this or that, it's kind of together, no, it's both sadhana. Vaidhi is also sadhana.
Yes. It is agreed, by practicing Vaidhi Bhakti, Raganuga may come. It is not guaranteed that by practicing Vaidhi Bhakti, Raganuga will come. Because there is no fixed formula for getting Raganuga Bhakti. Sri Rupa Goswami mentions this, and Prabhupada used to quote this verse, because no speaking anything without giving a praman, without giving a proof. This is the verse in Caitanya-caritamrta, Madhya 8.70. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita matihi kriyatam yadi kutopi labhyate tatra laulyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti sukritairna labhyate. Our society is named after this verse. International Society for Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. This is what Prabhupada said. What is the meaning of ISKCON? Prabhupada quoted this verse. Krishna consciousness means Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. A consciousness which is fully drenched in the loving mellows of Sri Krishna, Bhakti Ras. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activities in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be attained only by paying one price, that is intense greed to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. Rupa Goswami is saying that there is no fixed formula to attain that greed and hankering which will cause you to enter into Raganuga Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti may produce it. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada used to say, it may happen. You chant, you follow the rules and regulations nicely, avoid everything. If Krishna is merciful, then it may happen. But there is no fixed formula, because you cannot put prema in a fixed formula. Prema is not attained by fixed formulae. Everything else can be attained by fixed formulae, not the mood of the Vrajavasis. So that is the answer to the query. Thank you.
Sorry. Another question which is burning my heart for many, many years.
Microphone, please.
I had a friend, and he went to Vrindavana, and some or other he started associating with the Nimbarka Sampradaya. And yeah, he doesn't really accept that it's just started by Lord Chaitanya. He said, in our Sampradaya, I mean, you know about it for sure. So what's your answer?
There are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, out of which the Nimbarka Sampradaya is a bona fide Sampradaya. It is one of the 4 bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas. There is no doubt that other Sampradayas may be giving teachings for becoming an associate of Sri Krishna in Vrindavana. But there is something very specific that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is giving. And what is that specific thing that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is giving? Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is bestowing proximity to Srimati Radharani. Not in the mood of a gopi exactly, but in the mood of a servant of a gopi. Sri Rupa Manjari is not exactly considered as a gopi. She is considered as a servant of a gopi. She helps Sri Radha in times when Sri Radha most needs that help. This is most selfless expression of service and love towards Srimati Radharani. For us, Sri Radha comes first. Her service comes first. In the name of all the deities, her name comes first, before the name of Sri Krishna. Her service is placed before the service of Sri Krishna. Although other sampradayas may be promising that we can give you a direct relationship of enjoyment with Sri Krishna. That is good. But for us there is something more than that. And what is more than that is service to Sri Radha, whom Sri Krishna loves the most. That for us is the highest ideal. Although other sampradayas may be promising and giving some sadhana to attain the mood of a gopi, and we respect any sadhana coming from any bona fide sampradaya. But what Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu has given, it has some very special place for us in our hearts. So that is the answer to it. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu, we'll go to Prabhu, then we'll come to Mataji. Alright, Prabhu? Yes.
Thank you for your lecture, Prabhu. I have a question about developing love for Krishna in the form of a rasa, associating with a rasa. And the question is, how do I know, like I'm sure that if I'm on the platform, it will be revealed, like in what rasa I connect to Krishna. But in the meantime, when I'm not there, how do I validate and check, like, am I on the right path? Am I speculating? Am I being sentimental about what I feel? How do I know what I feel is real, or it's a beautified emotion that is just some clouded up puff?
Yeah. As long as you do not have the qualification to enter into raga, it's not rasa, raganuga bhakti, till that time Sri Rupa Goswami has a recommendation for everybody who has not yet attained the qualification. What is the eligibility? Because Sri Rupa Goswami will specify, all the doubts will be clarified by him. So best to give his opinion, so that it is the most authentic opinion. Dear devotees, bhakti in the de facto mode, when raga has not arisen, is defined by Sri Rupa Goswami. Yatra raganavaptatvat pravrittir upajayate shasane naiva shastrasya sa vaidhi bhakti ruchyate. I had anticipated this question, so the slide is ready. Yatra, in the situation where raga anavaptatvat, where raga, spontaneous attachment in the mood of a Vrajavasi, has not arisen, anavaptatvat, pravritti rupajayate, still you want to be a devotee. How do you become? Shasane naiva, by the strictures of scriptures, by the rules and regulations of scriptures, you still continue to follow. But that bhakti is known as which bhakti? Sa vaidhi bhakti uchyate. So the de facto bhakti is always going to be there. And which bhakti is that? Vaidhi bhakti. You do not have to artificially try to do anything. But at least a theoretical aspiration should be there in your mind. Now I know what I have to aspire for. And we should not try to force it. But we should always hanker in front of Sri Sri Radha Gopinath. Please send me such a devotee. Please send me such a devotee in my life. An unconventional teacher of the religion of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who can revolutionize my life and teach me what is Raganuga Bhakti. If Sri Krishna is pleased, because we can go with an application in our hands, but there is no guarantee that the application will be approved. There is no fixed formula here. If Sri Krishna is pleased, very soon he will send such a person in your life. And when he sends such a person, you will get a very strong indication that this is the person whom I was looking for. Because that person will already be situated in the mood that you are aspiring for. This is the translation, Prabhu. You kindly read the translation yourself.
Due to lack of raga, innate attachment for Krishna, an individual's proclivity for bhakti arises exclusively due to strictures of Shastra. Bhakti performed with such a proclivity is known as Vaidhi Bhakti.
Does this answer your query?
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Meanwhile, what should you do? Meanwhile, you can only go with an application and cry sincerely in front of Sri Krishna. If there is fire in your stomach, you will do it. As much fire is there in your stomach, you will pray with that intensity. That I want such variety of bhakti. And for everybody else, there are always rules and regulations. Chant Hare Krishna, 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, and you will go back to Godhead. Yes, definitely you will go. But do you want to go back to Goloka Godhead? For that you will need Raganuga Bhakti. So I hope that is clear. Alright?
Thank you.
So meanwhile, what can you continue to do? 64 angas, 64 limbs of bhakti that are described in Bhakti Rasamrita. Yes, we'll take Mother Bhagavati. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So, basically on the same topic, I mean, ISKCON is, I think, by necessity a Vaidhi Bhakti movement.
100%.
And I think also, I mean, in the beginning, when we look at what Prabhupada encountered with the Gopi Bhav group, there's definite reason for that.
Yes.
Because most of us are not on the level to think any further.
Yes.
Am I correct then in assuming that this type of deeper feelings and desires, they are to remain exclusively between guru and disciple, or mentor and disciple, because also not all our gurus are very much inclined to discuss this topic, I suppose. So am I correct, this is not something that you kind of discuss freely with people, it's supposed to be private?
Yeah.
So I think that needs to be stressed to some extent, because there's a danger with this for ISKCON as a movement, for Radhadesh as a community, when we all start kind of hankering for something more without the proper foundation.
Sure. There is danger on both sides. I am stuck in a difficult place, Mother Bhagavati. There is danger on both sides. The danger on this side, as you have clearly expressed, is that unqualified people may start discussing these things, and then, just like Srila Prabhupada was very careful about discussing these things in public. And the danger on the other side is that we may become totally unqualified for this type of bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti is for the masses, no doubt. Raganuga Bhakti is for the classes. But there should be some space within the institution where there should be discussions amongst like-minded devotees on these topics. Otherwise, we will become a pure Vaidhi Bhakti institution. You are correct that Srila Prabhupada instituted Vaidhi Bhakti. But Srila Prabhupada also instituted Raganuga Bhakti, something which nobody else has done before. This morning we were singing Tulsi Aarti. Every morning we sing. Ei nivedan dharo, sakhir anugata karo, seva adhikar diye karo nija. Dasi or das? Dasi. You are all das. Why are you every morning singing Dasi? The aspiration to become a maid servant of Sri Radha has been instituted within the daily morning prayer. What greater proof is needed? This Tulsi Aarti is exclusive for ISKCON. It is not to be found in any other Gaudiya Vaishnava institution in the world, including Gaudiya Math. Srila Prabhupada saw this Tulsi Aarti in Radha Damodar temple for the first time. That is where he got it from. In the Gaudiya Math and other respectable institutions, there are other Tulsi Aartis. But Srila Prabhupada liked it so much that he instituted it within his society. There are dangers on both sides. And I'm trying to walk on a very tight rope.
I'm happy that you did, because it's something that I've lamented about, that we don't discuss this.
Yeah.
But then in the discussion, that thought came to me as well, that it needs to be regulated properly.
Yeah. And your important query about when somebody starts experiencing Raganuga Bhakti, they cannot, a whole mass of people cannot experience it. Very few will be able to experience it in private. And they will only be able to reveal it to a few like-minded devotees. It is not for public display. At the same time, Caitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance is today. And if we don't speak anything about his mood, and if I simply come and say, chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, and you will go back to Golok Vrindavana, then Caitanya Mahaprabhu will not be happy with me. He will say, Hari Parshad, this is not what I had come for. Prabhu, you have to tell me when to stop.
We have a Harinam leaving at 11.
Okay.
So it's nice if we both could prepare for the Harinam.
Okay.
So I would say next 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. Alright. Anybody else? Yes, Prabhu. I hope that satisfied your query, Mother Bhagavati.
Yes.
Alright. There should be some closed quarters in the society where such discussion should happen. But it is not for public discussion. But since today was special appearance day of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, let's open the gates a little bit. That's what I mean. Prabhu, yes.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for this lecture and keeping my attention for so long. Normally I don't keep my attention for so long, but now, so it's great mercy I received from you. Thank you very much. My question is regarding chanting Hare Krishna. Many times you mentioned 16 rounds, but we know that Prabhupada, he always would encourage to chant more than 16 rounds. And we know in Haridas Thakur he chanted 3 lakhs. So where is there time when you chant 3 lakhs Hare Krishna for anything else besides chanting Hare Krishna? So to hear about Krishna's pastimes and to evoke this, is that an extra you have to do besides chanting Hare Krishna, or is it just chanting Hare Krishna that would be able to bring you back to Golok Vrindavana?
This is a wonderful query, that you have to chant Hare Krishna like Sri Haridas Thakur chanted 300,000 names of Sri Krishna. And where does the time remain to discuss all of this? The Yuga Dharma, the duty of this age, does anybody know what is the name of that Yuga Dharma? Sankirtan. Yajna is Sankirtan. What is the meaning of Kirtan? Kirtan is the Yuga Dharma. We are supposed to perform Kirtan. What is the meaning of Kirtan? What is the definition of Kirtan?
Glorification. Congregational chanting.
That is Sankirtan. Congregational. What is the definition of Kirtan? Glorification.
To make somebody famous.
Yes. The definition of Kirtan is given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. I will specify this definition. Please repeat after me. Nama Leela Gunadina Uchchair Bhasha tu Kirtanam. Kirtan is limb number 33 of the 64 limbs. Uchchair Bhasha, audible pronunciation of what? Nama, Leela, Guna, Adi, etc. Name, pastimes, qualities, etc. etc. includes associates, is known as Kirtan. So when somebody is glorifying the pastimes of Sri Krishna, are they fulfilling the Yuga Dharma? Yes or no? Kirtan. When somebody is glorifying the associates of Sri Krishna, are they fulfilling the Yuga Dharma? Yes. Adi, etc. Kirtan. Anything glorification of any entity in relation to Sri Krishna is the official definition of Kirtan in the Sampradaya. In Kirtan, Naam Sankirtan has higher priority. I agree to that. But other forms of Kirtan are heavily encouraged. Sri Haridas Thakur was in a very special position. Often his example is quoted, but his circumstances are not quoted. Let us go back 500 years ago. Prabhuji, 500 years ago, you are in Jagannath Puri. You are born in a Brahmin family. You stay in Jagannath Puri. Sri Haridas Thakur stays near you. Can Sri Haridas Thakur cook for the deities?
No.
Can Sri Haridas Thakur visit the Jagannath Puri temple?
No.
Can Sri Haridas Thakur serve prasadam?
No.
Then only one service remains for Haridas Thakur. Srila Prabhupada also specified this. Yeah. This is, we must have some numerical strength. Yeah, I want to find the exact quote of Srila Prabhupada. I read it some time ago. So I will find you. Yeah. Prabhu, you kindly read the highlighted section which I am. Yeah.
Okay. Starting with because?
Yeah.
Because just like Rupa Goswami, he had to write so many books. So he was not keeping such a big number as 3 lakhs. But there was some numerical, similarly, we must have some numerical strength. And we have minimized. I know that you are coming from a different source. So according to time, according to circumstances, even there is no limit. You can chant more than 1600 times. There is no, but practically we see that even chanting 16 rounds becomes difficult. So don't try to imitate, but do it properly. What is advised by your spiritual master, without any offense. That mantra will save you from the dangers of Maya. That is a fact.
When in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, the section on japa is going on, the acharyas could have fixed a number there itself. But the acharyas do not fix any number in Hari Bhakti Vilas. They say, na nyunam na dikam, neither too less nor too much. This is what you should chant. Now what is neither too less nor too much? Decided between the guru and disciple, neither too less nor too much. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave initiation to some devotees on 4 rounds. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also gave initiation to some devotees on 4 rounds, who were grihasthas, very busy. Those who were staying in the matha, full-time residents of the ashram, 64 rounds. What we hear often about is the 64 rounds. But what we don't hear often about is the 4 rounds. So Prabhupada gave a balance between that. How many rounds do we have? 16. Minimum 16. 16 rounds. So I hope this satisfies your query.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alright. So we'll come to Prabhu and then we'll take one last query. Oh, shoot, yes. 2 more. Okay, Prabhuji. And Prabhu, we can meet personally. Your good name, Prabhuji? Gatikari Prabhu. Yes. So I will meet you personally after the talk. Is that okay?
It's an important question. I think it's good that.
So can I meet you personally? Yeah. So after, you will get this. All right. Yes, Prabhu.
When Sanatana Goswami met Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, I told him, who I am, why am I suffering the threefold misery? So we have to be one of the reasons why we have to be attached to Krishna, that we want to get rid of the sufferings of this world, because we have this body, the mind, so many problems in this material world, but we see that even Vrindavasis, they are suffering so much. They stayed, as you said, 70 years without seeing Krishna. They were crying day and night. So there was suffering. Their body was emaciated. And also we see the Pandavas were suffering so much because they were loving Krishna. So they say, but I'm suffering here. Why I have to go there and suffer?
Oh, wow, yeah, that's a good question. Should I try to answer the query, Prabhu? Yes? That was the query? Yeah. All right. If it is all about suffering, why not suffer here itself? There is not a single trace of material suffering in the pastimes of the Vrajavasis or the pastimes of any associates of Sri Krishna. Separation from Sri Krishna is one of the highest pleasures that can be had by a living entity. There are two factors which are required to nourish a relationship. Can somebody tell me what are the two most important factors for nourishing a relationship?
Union.
No. Union and separation. If there is too much union, the relationship will be destroyed. Let me give an example. Vishal Prabhu, you are my friend, right? Yes or no? Yes. Vishal Prabhu, I want to come stay with you in your house. The condition being that you have to spend all the time with me, with nobody else, and listen to what I have to say for the entire day. I am coming for 2 days. He's not even saying a clear yes. One week. Too much union destroys a relationship. Therefore, it is important to introduce separation in the relationship. Rupa Goswami says, Na vina vipralambhena sambhogah pushtim ashnute. Without separation, union does not become tasty. Sri Jiva Goswami proves in the 6 Sandarbhas that none of the interactions of the Vrajavasis with Krishna had any tinge of material suffering. He uses that and he will not speak without pramana. This is the style of the previous acharyas, not speaking anything without pramana. Dear devotees, would you like to see a pramana which specifies clearly that the Vrajavasis never suffered materially? Yes? Because that will remove a major knot from the heart. Sri Jiva Goswami quotes this verse 10:11:58. Iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Rama katham muda kurvanto ramamanascha na vindan bhava vedanam. Na avindan bhava vedanam. Prabhu, kindly read the word for word of this last thing.
Not avindam perceived bhava vedanam, the tribulations of material existence.
Yes. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
In this way, all the cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, enjoyed topics about the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram with great transcendental pleasure, and they could not even perceive material tribulations.
Dear devotees, was there any material suffering involved in the pastimes of Vrajavasis with Krishna? No. Okay. But it appears as suffering, doesn't it? Sri Sanatana Goswami gives a beautiful analogy in Bhagavatamritam to explain this. He says when somebody puts his hand in fire, his hand becomes dark, blackened, and he appears to suffer outside. When somebody puts his hand in deep freezing ice, his hand also becomes black, and he also appears to suffer from a burning sensation outside. The experience which is caused by fire and the experience which is caused by frostbite is outside, it looks exactly the same. But those who know the tattva, the reality, know that it is caused by two different things. two completely opposite things. Similarly, the suffering of the Vrajavasis is actually the greatest pleasure to be ever had, and this is the reason why Krishna is giving the greatest pleasure to his dearmost devotees, that which he never gave to anybody else. But how can suffering be pleasure? I will answer this last part because this is difficult to understand. So I will explain by the use of a material analogy. Please forgive me because this is the only possible way I have found to explain it. Alright, I come from Mumbai in India, western part of India. In India I am a western devotee. Mumbai has taken the sole responsibility of spoiling entire India. There is one industry in Mumbai which spoils the entire India. Anybody knows which industry? You are experienced devotees. So Bollywood every year churns out thousands of songs, and many of these are love songs. These love songs can be broadly categorized into two types: songs of union and songs of separation. Believe me, which songs are appreciated more if you ask? Isn't separation painful? Why do people appreciate pain? Because there is something, even in the material world, there is something in it which is called rasa. What is it called? Rasa. It is material rasa. So when Krishna is arranging the killing of the sons of the Pandavas, when Krishna is arranging separation from the Vrajavasis, he is making them experience Bhakti rasa. There is no material suffering involved as proven by the direct verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the answer to your query. Now, what remains is to experience it in real life. That's all. Okay. So, Prabhu, should we take one more query or should we stop?
It's the last question.
Last question. I'm sorry, the devotees were. Yes, so I'll come to you. Yeah, I had promised, Prabhuji, I'll come to you.
Thank you for giving me this privilege to ask this question. And for your nice presentation, of course, especially for that. Prabhupada, he dedicated his life in service to his spiritual master. We see, he underwent many tribulations, and he was just living for spreading the message of Krishna all around the world, and so that was his formula of success, pleasing the spiritual master. Is there any indication that he would practice Raganuga Bhakti or something like that? It seems that, we all know that he is a topmost devotee, and he was just purely engaged in service of spreading Krishna consciousness. And he asked his disciples to do the same.
Yeah.
Isn't that formula enough to bring us back to Godhead?
The formula is specified in Prabhupada's books. That cannot change. I quoted direct references from Caitanya-caritamrta. That one has to follow the path shown by all the previous acharyas. The formula cannot change in any generation. Otherwise the previous generations will complain. Why injustice with us? So the formula has to remain same. One has to practice Raganuga Bhakti, and Prabhupada himself translated those verses. He wrote it down there. Now, did Prabhupada himself experience these moods of the Vrajavasis? And there is a clear indication in his writings. I will give you one indication. Does everybody want to see one such indication? Yes. Alright. So, a new person has come to meet Srila Prabhupada. His name is Bob Cohen. He is working in the Peace Cause. Today he is known as Brahma Tirtha Prabhu. And Srila Prabhupada's conversation with him is recorded in the book Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. A new person has come for his meeting for first time, and he asks a particular question. So Prabhu, you take the role of, I'll take the role of Bob, you take the role of Srila Prabhupada. Alright? Please take the mic. Is Krishna attractive to rascals?
Oh yes, he was the greatest rascal also.
Has any Acharya in history decorated Sri Krishna with this adjective? Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. Dear devotees, not only did Srila Prabhupada decorate Krishna with this adjective, he gave each and every one of us the freedom to decorate Krishna with this adjective every morning. Yatha tatha va vidadhatu. What is the meaning of lampata? Debauchee. Rascal. Institutionalization of Raganuga Bhakti. This is what it means. Alright, Prabhu, please continue. Yeah. How is that? Please.
Laughing, because he was always teasing the gopis.
Now Shyam Sundar Prabhu says, teasing?
Yes, sometimes when Radharani would go out, Krishna would attack her, and when she would fall down, Krishna, don't torture me in that way. They would fall down and Krishna would take the opportunity and kiss her. He laughs. So Radharani was very pleased, but superficially Krishna was the greatest rascal. So unless rascaldom is in Krishna, how could rascaldom be existent in the world?
Right. Thank you. So, where have we read this pastime? It's not in the Krishna book, not in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I have not read in most of the books of the Acharyas that I have been through. Where did this come from? It must have come from the samadhi of a realized soul, dear devotees. It must have come from the samadhi of a realized soul, somebody who is living in the mood of a Brajavasi already. That is Srila Prabhupada. I cannot take this liberty, Prabhu. Tomorrow if a new devotee comes to the temple and if I say, Krishna jumped on Sri Radha and he kissed her, the temple president will call me and say, is everything okay, Hari Parshad? This liberty can only be availed by somebody of the stature of Srila Prabhupada. This is where the clear flavors of Raganuga Bhakti are visible in the life of Srila Prabhupada himself. This is one of the examples, there are many other examples. So I hope this satisfies your query. This is what we have to be. Not only did he follow his Guru as it is, but he was himself living the life of Raganuga Bhakti. That is what he expected us to be. Alright? Thank you.
Can I take the last time?
Yeah, sure.
It's not a question. His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
So, just a small question, not to Hari Parshad Prabhu, but to the audience. How many of you would like to hear a bit more in another session? Yes? So, I have good news. We have 5 more sessions. The first one is tomorrow evening. It's the first part of a lecture series of 2, which is called The Joyous Waves of Srila Rupa Goswami's Poetry. That's tomorrow evening, starting at 5:30 in the evening here in the temple room. So please come all to hear 1.5 hours about Rupa Goswami's Poetry, part 1. Then on Tuesday morning, there will be morning class given by Prabhu about Japa, Kirtan and Smaran, which is very much related to the question of Stoka Krishna Prabhu. Then on Wednesday morning, there will be a session called Darshan of Sri Damodar. So it sounds very esoteric, Darshan of Sri Damodar. Then in the evening on Wednesday is the Joyous Waves of Srila Rupa Goswami's Poetry, part 2. And then the final session is on Thursday morning, before Prabhu leaves to Goloka Dham. And that's called The Childhood Pastimes of Krishna. And then Prabhu, when he answered my WhatsApp, he said, or would you like some different topics? So So thank you very much, Prabhu. And I hope the audience that we have today, that we have the same audience and more on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Sri Gaura Purnima Mahotsava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the Harinam will leave at 11 o'clock in front of the castle. Those who don't go, there will be bhajans by the youth starting at 12 o'clock in the temple room. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare.
Second is, when a hunter catches his prey, the prey